Hey, how's it going, guys? It's Charlie here. Today I'm going to be breaking down Sam Ovens' exact $36 million funnel he used to scale consulting.com. I'm going to be covering absolutely everything from his original content assets to his ad creatives to his landing pages, registration pages, email sequences. The value is absolutely insane, guys. And I'm going to be breaking down exactly how he built this $36 million funnel. So if you want to know how he did this and how you can replicate and introduce the same mechanisms and systems into your business to predictably get clients, then highly recommend watching it. So let's talk about this. It's a very interesting funnel. At its core, it does look quite simple. It's basically at the top of the funnel is Facebook ads and YouTube. Now, I guess the thought process behind these two, it's quite similar to Hormozi, where he had YouTube as like the longer content and also podcasts, and then he uses Facebook ads as the predictable lead flow, basically, because the thing with organic content is it's not that predictable and you can't rely on it. So that is why Facebook ads is here. And I think at its core, like, he was putting like millions a month into Facebook ads. And I think one of his regrets was actually putting so much money into Facebook ads when he said that he should be putting the money into his actual clients to increase the LTV, so to increase the lifetime value of his clients, and just get them more money. So he said this, I can't remember where, but yeah, he basically recommended that instead of putting all the money he was making, which was an absolute shit ton of money, he said he would have preferred, if he went back and did it all over again, he would have preferred to put the money he was putting into ads into his actual clients to give them an even better service. But yeah, basically, these two platforms ran to an opt-in page. You register for a webinar. Webinar's about to start. I'll be going over the process of the webinar and the actual structure, social proof, order page, and then retargeting ads. So that is a basic summary, but there's a lot more to it, and you do not want to miss this. So let's talk about the different ad sets, because yeah, we need to start at the top of the funnel before we start going into the actual more technical stuff. So his ad sets were very simple. There wasn't any, crazy ad creatives involved in this. It was quite literally posts, and he used a lot of before and after. So my parents' garage and compared with his first $1 million home or whatever. So yeah, there was a lot of similarity attraction bias. It's a cognitive bias where humans tend to like humans who are similar to them. And if he shows that he came from his parents' garage, obviously you can see how other humans lent into this and believe that they could do the same thing, even though you would never be able to get to the level that Sam was able to get to. So these ad sets are very simple. He leveraged, I think, stories quite a lot, as you can see here. And once again, it's just a story to provoke resonance and to, say basically, I was just like you. And then these are some core things: memorability, building trust, simplifying complex information. So stories can be used to simplify and humanize complex concepts or products by presenting information through a narrative. You make it more accessible and understandable for the audience. So a lot of stories were involved in these long text things. So this is something you can introduce if you are even just posting like organic content on Twitter, Instagram. I recommend stories. Now, yeah, very simple. You can read this if you want, but it's actually quite simple ad sets. But one thing that's interesting is his OG content assets. So I've noticed that every single person, right, they all use, they leverage content assets on YouTube, podcasts, just because the people who like his ads and can resonate with him, who maybe they're in their parents' garage or whatever, it's important you have more content that your hardcore viewers can go to. So if you don't have at least 7 hours of content on your channel, then you're seriously missing out on a lot of money and cash flow, basically, because in order for a human to buy relatively easily with no objections or very little objections, they need to have watched about 7 hours worth of content, which may shock you a bit, but yeah, like that goes to show the importance of having content to nurture your existing audience as sort of like, this is kind of like an amplifier. Yes, people would have, gone towards this and booked into the webinar, which we'll talk about in a minute, but having this content assets to just build an omnipresent like approach on all different platforms is so important, basically. And the brand positioning is also very clean. That's another thing I noticed. Very professional. He's got a nice office, and that obviously like you could argue that that manifests into the actual product, because people think that if you're presentable and you look good for free, then they think that the paid thing is going to be even better, basically. So this is top of the funnel, really simple. He had these two things. There are obviously more things. He ran Instagram ads, but you could argue that's just meta as well. So yeah, brand positioning really nice. But now in terms of the actual details, right, let's get into this. So the whole funnel is based on a automated webinar. He did not sit down for 3 hours every single week and do this webinar, because why would you when, time is money, basically. So he just recorded an evergreen audio file and then just ran this automated webinar. And the landing page is basically how I get 30 to 50 high ticket coaching clients every single month with predictable a pretty basic landing page as well. He tried to make it exclusive, so exclusive free training with Sam Ovens. Going over value, registration. One thing to note is he didn't give you too many options. There was only I think you could select your session, but it was like a couple of sessions that you could go for, so it didn't confuse the viewer, basically, or the prospect at this time. So when, and then your details. Very, very simple. He wanted to make it as easy as possible to register and not make it complicated. And then after you register, he's then got your information. So he would send you a email reminder 3 hours before, and then 1 hour before, and then directly when it started. And this is his exact email copy. And if you want this entire thing, just DM me on Instagram. You have to be following me though. And I'll just send you this whole thing so you can look at the resources and you can basically go over this. And I'll leave my Instagram in the description. So definitely follow me and DM me if you want this. So after that, and you've registered for the webinar, you would then basically get this. So starting soon. And now this is where it gets interesting, because obviously this is all good. Anyone can do this. But if you actually don't have a good free training, when you don't have a good webinar, then none of this will work. All of this is just going to be for nothing if you don't actually have a good sales process. So at the start of the webinar, he basically set the tone by having this green eye. Now, one of the reasons people love Sam Ovens and his product, consulting.com, wasn't because it taught fancy client acquisition systems or things like this. It taught people who joined the program how to see, how to actually see the world for what it is, and how to use that to get clients. So it opened people's eyes to what is, actually possible when it comes to, building an online business, consulting, coaching, whatever. So that is, it goes over, it just sets the tone, basically. That's the best way I can describe it without getting into too much detail and complicating everything. It starts the webinar with this. So how to start a wildly profitable consulting business and get your first high value client in 42 days. Like the specific numbers are always more believable. So he could say 30 days, but everyone says 30 days. So change it up, do 42. If you're offering, let's say you're offering Facebook ads right now to, roofers, don't say you're going to get them 15, appointments. Say you're going to get them, 23, just to make it more specific. That's one thing to note. And then he started off with social proof, which is a massive thing. And if you look at their landing pages, they also had social proof. So he's kind of going over what his ideal, so ICP, what his ideal client profile would want, which is basically to quit their job. So that's why he put this exact case study there. And from there, the whole webinar is basically his story of how he went from just a normal kid, because that's what he wants you to believe. He wants you to believe that you can do this, even though you never will be able to get to this stage, no matter how hard you try to copy him. The premise of the webinar is to show where he was and where he is now. And it also did provide value. It was 3 hours long, which is crazy for a webinar. But that was essentially the premise of it. It's just a before and after to hopefully make the viewer resonate with him. And then from there, he would basically drop the most outrageous price anchor from 6K. He would basically say 6K is the everyday price to 1.999. He could have done 2,000, like we said before, and kept it like an even number. But this just makes it even seem more of a price anchor, which is pretty interesting. And you should be doing this on your sales calls. You should be doing this everywhere you can. You should say to your prospect, look, to work with me, it's usually 6K. However, what I can do for you is if you're able to make a decision today, I can drop it to $1,999. And then that is obviously going to get the prospect to compare that 1.9 to the 6K, make it seem like a really good deal, even though I don't think he actually ever charged 6K for this. He just put it up there, put ratings, more social proof. And then he said, if you want, you can do payment plans of $599. And yeah, so if you didn't buy, let's say you didn't buy here, that's fine, because he knew that his retargeting ads, and he had amazing SOPs, so standard operating procedures, to account for that, which most of you guys watching this don't. So let's say you left the webinar early, he would say, I just finished holding the consulting webinar, noticed that you left early. And this is all like automated. So the amount of leverage he has here is absolutely nuts, because he ran ads. That doesn't require him to get involved. He can just click a button, he runs the ads, he gets people automated to sign up, the email sequences are automated, the webinars are automated, the follow-ups are automated. So he's fully removed from this process. He doesn't need to hire sales reps. It's like an insane system, actually, if you think about it. And it's pretty easy to understand how he was able to scale to this amount, because of the amount of leverage he has. So after this, obviously he said, you can register again, yeah, etc., etc. You bailed before we got to the good stuff, and then he basically would hit you with one of his like 6 or 7 retargeting ads that looked like this. He said, this is a retargeting ad. Its purpose is to get your attention. And yeah, basically then the call to action is to book a free 45-minute strategy session with my team. And he actually put the team in the picture to make them seem like nice people, even though they definitely just sold you hard if you were to get on this call. But yeah, this is something that you can also incorporate. So long story short, right, the premise of this is to include an insane amount of leverage in your client acquisition processes and systems. Because if you are taking sales calls, which, you know, I am, like, I'm transitioning more into like closing in the DMs, which is actually pretty insane. Because before I used to take like 5-6 sales calls a day, and now being able to close people in the actual Instagram DMs without even hopping on a call is pretty nuts to me. And that's what I've been doing recently. I still hop on calls if people have questions and stuff, but it's pretty insane. So that's pretty much the whole premise of it. We could get a lot more in depth into this. Yeah, but obviously the retargeting ads went to all the people that didn't buy the service in the first place. But I just thought it was a pretty interesting video to explain to you guys, and hopefully this can provoke some inspiration in you to not just do what everyone else is doing in the market. And yeah, if you did like the video, all I ask in return is you like the video and you hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, so it would mean the world if you could subscribe, and I promise in return I will deliver better and better content for you. So yeah, the more you subscribe, the more content I can get you guys to receive, basically. But besides that, if you do want help scaling your coaching or agency offer, I'll leave a link in the description. You can work with me one-to-one. If not, no worries, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.